It's quite spectacular what a little bit of paint and 3 months of hard work can do. It's time to put it on at the car, and this is gonna be the video for everyone who wants to put a rear axle on their car. We're gonna explain everything. It's gonna look really cool, and by the end of this episode, we're gonna roll the car, which has not been happened for 8 months. So enjoy. See ya. So we noticed when taking the axle off that we first tried to remove the springs, and therefore we had to stretch a lot of members. For mounting it, we'll do it the other way around. So first step is putting the springs on, and so we can lower the car a little bit, have some weight on the axle, and then go from there. So a couple of things you have to keep in mind when mounting the springs. So they're mounted between a cup on the axle and a cup in the car. It's squeezed in between there. And on both sides there's a rubber to stop rattling of the metal to metal contact. And there's this tiny hole here in this cup, which is for draining out some water, which could be in this cup. So we have to make sure that this hole is actually clear and not obstructed by the axle or the spring itself.
Nice. Moeten we hier eigenlijk close-up shots ook van hebben? Misschien?
Ja. So our beautiful blue springs are in. Quite nice compared to all the black we have out here. The next step will be the torque rods. These are the circular rods. You might remember them from the part special that we did. And these prevent the axle from rotating around its axis when you're driving, when you're accelerating or braking. These are attached by a rubber on the side of the axle and a nut. And on the other side there's a bushing which goes to this lug with another nut. So it's two bolts and then it's in. So that's up next. Okay, same story, other side of course. So the tip here is to not tighten all the bolts immediately all the way, because you will need all the play on the little members to kind of squeeze everything into position, and then when everything is in position you can tighten the bolts fully. So this. So now that the trailing arms are in, we're gonna, before we lower the car onto its final position, we're gonna put the shock dampers in, because we cannot get it in afterwards. Or we have to compress them really hard, which will So first shock dampers, then lower the car. So the weight of the car is now being supported by the rear axle. The shock dampers are in, the torque rods are in. So up next is the trailing arm. And this member will take most of the loads during accelerating and braking. So it's really important because that's with a rear wheel drive car, this is where most of your older loads will come from. And this one kind of clamps around the axle, and with the same as with the trailing arms, the rubber, carb rubber, and then the nut is what tightens into the car. So let's put that on. So the trailing arms are in position, and we had a little bit of a struggle getting them in because of the way that we bended our brake lines. So as a tip from us, to learn from our mistakes, if you already have your brake lines in, it's maybe smarter to just first put in the trailing arm and then put in the torque rods, and not the way we did. But it's in now, so we can tighten them up. So it's now tight on the car side, and on the axle side we need this bracket to clamp it on. Okay, so after you've attached the trailing arm, first you have to attach this U-bracket here. Then don't forget your check straps, which will, if in case you hit a really big bump, make sure your axle doesn't fall out of your car. Then another bracket to hold the check strap, and that holds. As it turns out, it is really important when you buy new components for your car to get the right ones, and especially with your check straps, because ours are too short. And we've compared them with our old ones, and they're indeed like 10 centimeters too short, which is really stupid. So we have to test them now, but it's not a big deal since we won't be hitting any really big bumps soon. And we'll be getting some new ones, yeah. Shit happens. So next up is the Panhard rod. So all the members we installed kind of prevents it from going forward, going backward, from tilting, but nothing prevents it from moving side to side. And for that we have the Panhard rod, really simple sideways beam, and
Yeah.
Once you looped everything and moved everything out of the way, installation is super easy. Cool. Done.
Får jag feeling? Ты мой брат Поппинг делал.
So apart from the check straps, that's it. It's not too hard, it's fully in, and it's really good to see how it turned out. It's amazing if you think where we came from and how it's looking now. It's such a difference. Really glad with what we achieved. So now we'll put the wheels on, roll it off the bridge for the first time, maybe get a beer or two to celebrate this moment. Really special. And I guess it's also the end of the video, so yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.